is going on, my peeps? Welcome back to a brand new Buzzfeed test. For this recipe, you gotta go back a couple weeks. This was during my break, and the second I saw it, I wanted to try it, but I waited. But today is the day I'm making these ravioli sliders. Everything about these looks incredible. And I just need to shut up and stop talking so we can get right into this. Now the first thing that Tasty does in their video is grab the raviolis and start to bread them and prepare them to be fried. Now, I have to make my life difficult and do things that maybe some other food YouTubers might skip over. And make some fresh homemade pasta dough with some delicious homemade ravioli filling. This is gonna be tough, but let's start it up. I started with the pasta dough first, and it's easy, it's just 4 ingredients. It's simply just flour, eggs, oil, and water. I did add a little salt at the end just to add some flavor, but it's not necessary. 6 cups of flour. You want to mix all of your wet ingredients in a separate bowl and then dump them down in the well of your flour. Now this pasta recipe uses a half dozen eggs and it makes a lot of dough, so you could probably half the recipe. You really don't need this much. But once the dough began to form together, I tossed it down on a floured surface and just kneaded it until it became elastic and stretchy. Relatively simple stuff, so I just covered this and let it rest for 30 minutes while I made the ravioli filling. And this is a little bit more work. I grabbed some ricotta cheese and mozzarella, some basil and garlic powder, a block of mozzarella to put on the sliders, some shredded up Parmesan cheese, 1 egg, salt and pepper, and some fresh parsley. Now I say this was a little bit more work, which it is to gather all the ingredients, but once you've got them all and you've measured them all out, it's pretty much as simple as tossing them all together and mixing thoroughly. By the way, all these recipes are coming from the website called Taste of Home. I'll leave it down in the description. And once I had my filling prepared, I covered it with some plastic and tossed it in the fridge until I was ready to use it. Now here comes the tough part. I started to work with my pasta dough and tried to roll it out. It was a pain, as rolling pasta or any dough usually is. And about halfway through, I was informed that we have a pasta maker in the basement. I would have loved to know this about 6 months ago, but better late than never, I suppose. So I spent about 20 minutes trying to teach myself how to use this thing. And once I had it down, it was very simple. Again, I wish I would have had this thing about 50 recipes ago. Now once I had a bunch of sheets of pasta rolled out, if you guys remember, I ordered this ravioli form for our pumpkin spice month, where I made some pumpkin raviolis. That was a task. But it's gonna come in handy here too. I loaded up a piping bag with my filling mix and started to stuff every one of these. This tray makes about a dozen ravioli, and I think if I did my math right, that pasta recipe that I made would make almost 140 something or 150 ravioli. Again, you do not need to make that whole pasta recipe. Now once I crimped down all the edges around my ravioli and kinda beat them out of this tray, they look beautiful. I'm very impressed. So I tossed them out on a cookie sheet after I made a few batches and let them rest in the freezer while I prepared everything else for this recipe. Now, just in case you forgot, these are supposed to be sliders in the end, so I started to make the hamburger filling with a pound of ground beef, a pound of sausage meat, and a couple different spices. I mixed them all together and tossed it out onto a cookie sheet with some parchment paper and tried to spread it nice and evenly across the whole pan. Then just into a 350-degree oven for about 15 minutes. Disclaimer, you will get a ton of grease out of this, so be very careful when you're taking it out of the oven. But that looks pretty good, so I cut it up in a bunch of tiny little squares, small enough to fit on my raviolis because mine are a little smaller than Tasty's. And those are just about ready to go. So then I grabbed some bowls. In one, I tossed some breadcrumbs with some garlic powder, salt and pepper, a couple other basic spices. In the second one, a couple eggs and a little dab of milk just to stretch out the eggs a little bit. And this next step is as simple as dipping my fresh raviolis into the egg mixture and then giving them a nice thorough coating in the breadcrumbs. As if this recipe needed any more carbs, but once I got a bunch of those prepared, I heated up some oil to about 340. Threw in a couple ravioli at a time, and these browned up beautifully. I could not ask for these to look any better. You also can't see, but as I remove them, I put them on some paper towels to strain off some of that oil. And we are now on the final stretch to prepare them to bake. First, your bottom bun of 1 fried ravioli. Then my cute little burger squares, which are like so much smaller than Tasty's. All of these are gonna get a slice of our low moisture mozzarella cheese. I'm using that instead of fresh because it would just get everything soggy and the fresh mozzarella would leak everywhere. And then the top layer of raviolis, I'm scared that these are gonna collapse in the oven, but I toss them in anyway. These only need about 5 minutes just for everything to come together and for the cheese to melt. I am very, very happy with how these look right now. And I need to taste these, so let's do it. I'm very happy right about now. I don't know how many Italian grandmas out there would approve of wasting fresh pasta dough on this crime against humanity, but I don't really care. Oh my god. Wow. Everything about this is perfect. The meat is tender and juicy, and you get a lot of that sausage flavor coming through, which I like. Got the nice cheese on there. The fresh raviolis ain't bad, if I do say so myself. I can't think of a single thing bad about this. I've really tried. I can't do it. This is amazing. Absolutely, without a doubt, I recommend doing this. 10 out of 10, hands down. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's Buzzfeed test. Definitely the best one in a very long time. If you did, smack a like on this video. Leave me some suggestions down in the comments. Hit me up on Twitter and Instagram as always. I do have a new video for you guys on Sunday. It's not a new series or anything. It's just a video I've wanted to try for a while. So look out for that. In the meantime though, have an awesome weekend, and I'll see you right back here for the next one.